Joker, FOLIE à deux. Guys, I'm not going to pretend like I haven't seen the reviews for this movie. I'm on Twitter trying to move to Blue Sky, JPK at Blue Sky Social. But I'm on Twitter. I saw the reaction. I then saw the counter reaction of people saying this movie's great. I don't know. I'm trying not to be influenced. I'm trying to take this as it is, as it comes. The first Joker movie, I liked it in isolation as a commentary on the way we perceive people with mental health, how we treat people with mental health, and how they can build up or become something else and something more monstrous if we as a people, as well as the individual, don't treat or deal with the situation at hand as we should. Does that make sense? I hope I'm articulating what I mean properly. However, as a Joker movie, for the character Joker, as we know him from the comics, as some may know him from the movies, it wasn't my favorite. I haven't revisited it. I liked it, but I haven't revisited it. I often feel like when I've chosen not to revisit something, it's an indication of how I feel about that thing. Where this movie is going. Listen, when I saw the news of Lady Gaga, I was like, okay, fine. Then I saw musical. I said, what's going on? Todd Phillips, what's going on? What are we doing here? I have no idea what to expect. Is this going to be Hairspray? Is it going to be a musical? Is it going to be a film with songs? What is going to be meant by the musical? The musical set pieces, are they going to be moments of are they within Arthur's head or Harley's head? Are they moments of joy between the two of them where they kind of escape from the reality that they're in? I honestly, no clue. I've seen the reactions online, but I didn't sit down to read what parts of the film that people were picking apart. So I am nearly blind, I'd say. I'll be honest, I'm not expecting to love this movie. I'd love it to shock me. I'm not expecting to love it. It is what it is. I just want to see what everyone was yapping about so I can yap too. Okay, let's go. Looney Tunes. Dun, 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 dun. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, sorry. What is happening already? Why is his shadow trying to escape him? World needs love, love, sweet. Trying to think of the deeper meaning behind this scene. I'm thinking, me and my shadow. It's the shadow. You remember in school when we used to do English literature and then or English comprehension, and you'd read a poem or a story, and they'd force you to look deeper than what you really think the author was saying. I'm wondering if the shadow is kind of a representation of his darker side, or multiple personalities. That's the part of him that he wants to keep hidden or behind him, and in that instance, it kind of took over. I don't know. One thing I have not forgotten is how skinny Joaquin Phoenix gets for this role. I can't look at his left shoulder. One thing I know I'm gonna enjoy from this movie for sure. Oh my god, is its cinematography. Just as I was saying that. Oh. What does that mean? Is she a patient as well?
Dr. Beatty thinks that with everything that happened to you in your childhood, it caused a split. This fragmentation in you.
Right.
She believes you have another person living inside of you.
Ah, thank you to all my English teachers.
The three men who accosted you on the subway, who bullied you, did it feel like they triggered something painful? Did you black out? See bright lights?
Can she ask leading questions like that? Should she ask leading questions like that?
How about Murray Franklin? What, if anything, do you remember about that night?
The music.
This other part of you, Joker, Did it come out more after she died? Maybe I could talk to Joker about it. Would he like to talk to me?
Oh, the light. I wonder if the meaning of that light was the casting of the shadow. Why am I getting so deep and I feel like the Joker movie calls for this because Todd Phillips does a lot.
Remember that music class we saw the other day? I got you in. We're going next week. You've been good. You deserve it. Plus, I told him I'd go along with him.
Oh, there it is.
Ever since they made that TV movie about you, everybody still thinks you're a star.
So why is Harley an inmate? Is she already Harley? Because I mean, oh, maybe this isn't a Harley origin, but as far as I know, Harley was like the Joker's therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, one of them. I think it's one of them. And during the sessions, like she fell in love with him. That's probably one independent origin story. But like I said, maybe this isn't an origin. That was great. Visually. Oh,
Oh, when the saints, oh my.
what are they holding? Is that Dookie water? I must say I'm loving the music so far. It hasn't really been a musical. There's been a lot of music though. Does she know of him from the killings?
Arthur?
I set fire to my parents' apartment building.
Nobody knows, but also I killed my mother.
I should have done that.
Oh,
My
they
mother
went.
had me committed. She says I'm psychotic.
Okay, so her parents weren't in the building when she set it on fire.
Must have watched that TV movie they made about you like 20 times.
That's where she knows him from.
It was really good. I grew up in the same neighborhood. Me and my friends used to take that staircase to school every day. My parents didn't give a fuck about me either. My father beat the shit out of me. When I saw you and Murray Franklin, the whole time I was watching, I kept thinking, I hope this guy blows his brains out. And then you did. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. Better chase all your cares away.
Not guilty by reason of insanity.
Oh, Harvey Dent.
You're on the news.
Now, these people, they believe Arthur Fleck to be some kind of martyr. Well, he's not. Arthur Fleck is
I mean,
a
he's not
monster
dead.
who knew exactly what he was doing. And our office will be seeking the death penalty. Thank you. We'll be
Having your fellow inmates agree is crazy.
For once in my life, I have someone who needs me.
They're going for a lot of
Someone I've needed so long.
music in the same time period, like a very specific time period and a very specific genre.
Someone warm like you. Make my dreams come true.
It all feels very Frank Sinatra, very Tony Bennett.
For once in my life, I've got someone who needs me. For once in my life, I've got someone.
Okay, growl. I said, "Ah!"
Arthur, how's it make you feel? You scared?
Was that all in his head? Who's that? I enjoyed Joaquin Phoenix's performance in that song. However, the sound guys, the audio engineer, put too much pitch correction, auto-tune, on his voice to the point it felt inauthentic. Arthur Fleck is not supposed to be a pitch perfect singer, so I wanted to hear the natural pitchiness in his voice. But they corrected it too much.
Okay, let's move it.
Hang on, Jackie. He's signing my book. Worth a fortune. What the hell is this?
Oh my gosh.
Easy now. Let's go.
Oh, he's really a celeb. It feels quite similar to, you know, right now, at this moment in time, we're getting a lot of true crime. I mean, true crime documentaries have always been a thing, but these dramatized, like, you know, the Mendes story, Ryan Murphy did American Crime Story. Now he's doing the Mendes story and others, but Jeffrey Dahmer, it kind of feels like that's what they're playing on. She's just an arsonist. She is just an arsonist. She's doing it to get attention. She didn't like that his attention was completely on the movie, so now this should change things. If anyone decides to realize or smell the smoke. There goes Todd and his cinematography. Sorry, I will find out who the cinematographer is. Damn, this building was really flammable.
You want to play games on my watch, Arthur? 2 weeks in the hole.
There's no way.
Enjoy your stay.
Not the chokey. It's a chokey from Matilda.
Take my hand, stay here, my friend. I'll find my way back to you. Yeah. One of the guards let me in. I'd do anything for you. But we don't have a lot of time. Come here.
Did one of the guards let her in, or did she kill one of the guards?
They're sending me home.
What?
They're saying you're a bad influence on me.
More like the other way around. I wonder if to her the Joker is the real him. Yeah? Is that what she's putting on him? Like some sort of face paint?
You need to stop taking your medication.
Oh. Arthur ain't got no type. He's gone from Zazie Beetz to Lady Gaga. Oh, we're really doing... I was not expecting... It wasn't on my list, my checklist, to have a Harley Joker sex scene. Just given what type of Joker we have. Fairs.
You can watch from behind the glass, but you can't be in here.
Also, this actor, he's British. I can't remember his name. I want to say his surname begins with a C, but I really like him.
Take me back to that night on stage with Murray Franklin. What was going through your mind when you pulled out that gun and blew his brains out?
I don't really remember much from that night. I blacked out, saw bright lights.
Having a hard time knowing the difference between what was real or not. Please.
You did it on live TV, pal. Doesn't get any more real than that.
I was gonna kill myself on television. I thought Murray was playing a part in my show, but he was a bad actor.
Get what you bleeping deserve. That's what you said. That's not fun. That's not funny.
And you're right, I should have told a better one.
You still want to die?
Well, at the time, it certainly seemed a lot easier than living. But that's not me anymore. That's not who I am.
That wasn't really you.
No, that's
So your defense is it was the Joker who did it. An insanity defense.
Okay, I don't. Or do you really care? You don't. You want sensationalism. You don't care about. You just want to talk about my mistakes. You want to talk about the things that I did in the past, not about who I am now, not how I'm different now. Well, I'll tell you what's changed, Patty.
What?
I'm not alone anymore.
Miss Harley Quinzel, you two put on quite a performance that night.
The singing can be heard by other people. It's not in their heads.
The same old sad sensation. Lately, I've not slept a wink. I'm wild again, wild again.
He's enjoying it, I think.
I'll sing to her, bring spring to her.
Excuse me? Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back with more of Arthur.
I'm not talking much in this reaction because I'm literally just processing. You'd want to say that those scenes are unlikely in real life, but they're really not. They're really not. There's many examples of people who have committed serious crimes having a big, what do you call them? Supporter base? And understandably, sometimes they're quite complex. Like I know at the moment with the Mendes case, there's a lot of people behind the retrialing of those guys because of the circumstances around who their parents were and how they treated them. It's complex. So is this.
Milligan.
Who is this guy they keep focusing in on?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Honestly, I could have predicted what that judge would look like.
Are you all right, Mr. Fleck?
Where is she?
I'm just looking for someone.
Separate personality, dissociated from himself.
Doctor, in your opinion, the work you did on this case, do you believe Mr. Fleck suffers from a mental disease or defect?
No,
How'd she just walk in? And so late as well.
I believe he fakes his mental illness.
Quiet.
Her presence is going to make him commit to the Joker.
Did you read the records from the Department of Social Services that show that when Arthur was 7 years old, they returned him to his abuser's home? Did you ask him why social services didn't believe the horrific stories a 7-year-old boy told them?
No, I didn't ask him about that.
After spending just 89 minutes with Arthur Fleck, you want us to believe that you can say with absolute certainty that Arthur doesn't suffer from any serious mental illness? That he didn't need to retreat into fantasy and create another identity? And that identity didn't come out again. He was attacked and tormented by 3 drunk bullies on the subway.
You know, you're making him out to be a fucking idiot in there. He's never gonna get out if you keep this shit up. Do you see all those people out front? Who do you think they're here for? How many t-shirts is Arthur Fleck on?
What?
He's not sick. He's perfect.
We're gonna build a mountain.
A what?
What does that mean?
It'll help.
What does that even mean?
Oh, thank you.
She understands what I've been through. From the same neighborhood. She lost her father, you know, her mom was...
Wait, was that true?
She didn't grow up in your neighborhood.
Oh my God.
Her father is not dead. He's a doctor. She voluntarily committed herself to the hospital and then just checked herself out when she wanted to.
She didn't check herself.
What?
Did she mention she went to grad school for psychiatry?
Oh.
She's playing you for a fool.
Oh.
I know what it's like to love somebody, but I don't think you can believe a word she says.
I gotta pause it. So her origin is basically the same because Harley Quinn, like I mentioned, she was a doctor, she was a psychiatrist who became obsessed with the Joker as she was interviewing him. But it seems like in this version, Harley Quinn became obsessed with the Joker via his documentary or the movie that was made about him. And you know, when she said that, she said something like her mum had her decommitted. I don't know what the correct term is. I was like, okay, but are you well again? I should have asked more questions. In my head, I was like, but are you better? Like, are you in a place where your mum can just choose to? That doesn't make all the sense. But I just went along with it. So it all makes sense now in terms of her origin and who she is. The origin is pretty much the same. That she's obsessed with him to the point where she's playing into this character to gain his trust or his love. Maybe she does, or she's obsessed with him. Love is a different thing. Obsession and love, it's blurry, but I was not expecting that.
That's never shown on me. I want my whole life to be.
He got up there. What happened? Oh.
You're making it all about yourself. And the song is about loving me. So you're saying it's not about us?
It is, but we're singing for them.
Is the honeymoon over?
Is he starting to question Harley's intentions because of what his lawyer said? Oh my gosh, his nails, yuck. That guy has become a bit obsessed with him as well.
You're not from the same neighborhood as me. And your dad's a doctor. You're rich?
I just wanted you to like me.
Did you really check yourself in here?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to meet me?
Just to meet you.
Maybe this still works for him.
Did you really watch that TV movie they made about me 20 times?
Probably more like 4 or 5.
Was it actually good, or did you lie about that too?
It was great. Do you know I moved into your old apartment building to make us a home for when you get out? I'm pregnant.
Do we trust what she says?
What?
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? That is what.
Oh, modulation. All right.
Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Oh, I've seen this shot in the trailer. It's so good. That's so good. That's so good. I do not believe her about the baby. I mean, she's proven she will do anything to be close to him.
You believed he was dangerous.
Zazie Beetz.
he broke into my apartment.
You call the police?
No.
Wow, I didn't know she was in this. I wonder if he publicly admits to killing his mum somewhere in this trial.
Why is it that you didn't want to come here and testify today? Why did you initially ignore our subpoenas?
I was a character in that awful TV movie they made, and then all these people, supporters, I guess, like the people outside, started showing up at my work and harassing me. So I was afraid for my safety and for my daughter's safety. We moved out of the city.
And why did you finally decide to comply?
So I should have called the police that night. Then maybe all those people wouldn't have been. Maybe they wouldn't be dead now if I did.
I understand.
What happened after you asked Arthur to leave your apartment that night?
He left.
So he never hurt or even threatened you or your daughter?
No.
And did you watch him on TV on Murray Franklin the following week? And did that seem like the same man who was sitting in your apartment that night?
No, I mean, he was wearing clown makeup. She told me that there was something wrong with Arthur and that he lived in a fantasy world and that he had this laugh. She made up a story when he was a kid so that he would feel better about it, so that he would stop crying, so that he wouldn't kill himself.
What was the story?
That he was put on this earth to bring joy. Couldn't believe that he'd based his whole life around this made-up story. He was a street clown and he wanted to be a comedian. She just thought it was ridiculous that he thought he could make people laugh. I mean, she said Arthur wasn't funny at all.
I won't lie. Conceptually, I understand the placement of this musical breakout. But this took me out of the movie. I've been okay with them so far for the most part. There was one other, but
Long as there is
I was into the conversation between the lawyer and Zazie Beetz there, and it just took me out of the movie for a second. I was like, oh, right, we're gonna do that again.
the Joker is me. Oh, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Your Honor, may I approach the bench, please? No, you may not. I want to fire my lawyer. I'd like to represent myself. You're fired.
Arthur, don't do this. This is real.
That conversation triggered something in himself. Oh my gosh. That conversation between the lawyer and Zazie Beetz somehow has brought out the Joker.
You can do anything you want. You're Joker.
What's Harley's mental stability or health? Because we know she put on an act. She admitted herself.
He kissed her goodbye. Afterwards, Fleck was extensively.
Can we say to this point that there's still an act and she's completely fine? Like, and all of this is a performance on her behalf? Or do we say that someone who's willing to go to these lengths is actually mentally ill as well? Do you know what I mean?
Sit the fuck down, Ricky. call your next witness.
The lawyer was making such a good case for him, you know. I genuinely think she would have won the case. Oh, I completely forgot about this guy. He let him live when he killed some of the other people that he was working with, wasn't he? The Joker movie is a blur. Oh my gosh. I feel like this was the one guy that didn't bully him or wasn't laughing at him.
Person who you saw stab Randall Climenhofer to death, are they in this courtroom here today?
Yes.
You point him out to all of us and describe his clothing.
He's sitting right there at the table, wearing a red suit and clown makeup.
It's more burgundy. Plum even.
Mr. Puddles. Gary Puddles?
Your last name is Puddles?
Why, it sounds like a joke. You saw me stab Mr. Climenhofer in the neck a couple of times, correct?
Climenhofer. Yes, I saw you.
Where did this southern accent come from?
Randall was a bit of a bully, wasn't he?
Didn't deserve to die.
Did you catch my act on the Murray Franklin show later that night?
No, I didn't.
No.
I was locked up at the police station in an interview room. So they thought you might come and kill me.
When, as you say, you saw me bash Mr. Clanman whatever's head into the wall many, many times, did I seem like a different person? Or was I the same old Joker? So you don't think this is me? Well, maybe you don't know who I really was.
I never saw that side
Well,
of you.
maybe you weren't looking. Maybe no one was. Because nobody knew I existed. All these people, everyone outside, these cameras, who do you think they see, Mr. Puddles?
Joker.
From Murray Franklin to those goddamn fat, stupid guards at Arkham. But I will no longer allow you or any of you to keep me down. I'm free.
Why are you doing this to me, Arthur? I couldn't go back to work. I still can't sleep. And I'm scared all the time. I never used to be scared. I felt so small. I was reminded how powerless I really am.
You are tugging at my heartstrings, little Gary.
Do you know what that feels like, Arthur? You were the only one at work who never made fun of me. You were the only one who was nice to me.
I said no more questions, Your Honor.
He's getting through to Arthur. I was going to say earlier that he's kind of doing himself a disservice, but I mean, this is the biggest case study or example that this is clearly not the same person.
The defense rests as well, Your Honor.
Pardon? Mr. Fleck, you don't want to put on any defense.
No, Your Honor, the defense rests. That's all, folks.
All right.
We're gonna build a mountain from a little hill.
Gospel. I've never heard Lady Gaga on gospel before. He's got Gary as his best man.
Stand them up.
You jackass. Aren't you gonna buy me a drink first?
Shut the fuck up. Get his fucking rags off.
Why are they taking his clothes off? Like, what are they planning to do?
This is FOLIE. What'd you do to him? Shut the fuck up, Ricky. What up? The Saints are coming, Jackie. The Saints are coming.
They did not. They're not suggesting that they. Are they suggesting that they?
Come here.
No way.
Jackie, take it easy.
Wow.
I've got a song that I sing. I can make.
I have to be honest. If you can't tell from
I'd be as silly as so ends.
my face so far in the reaction, I became done with the songs about 3 songs ago. Like,
Hold on a string and now I'm sitting on a rainbow.
I'm trying. I'm trying to stay open-minded. But I'm just being honest about how I feel every time someone breaks out into song. And I wouldn't even call myself a musical hater. But we'll get into it afterwards. Did I misread that scene earlier? Or did these guards do what I think they did?
I wanted to come out here as Joker, and I was gonna go on an angry rant.
Because I can't be who you want me to be. It was all just a fantasy.
There is no Joker. It's just me. I killed 6 people. I also killed my mother. Put a pillow over her face and smothered her to death. I just want to blow it all up and start a new life.
And just like that, she's lost interest. Oh, a lot of people have lost interest. Right, so she's literally what so many of those people and his supporters, like she's a representing English. She's a representation of them.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck who?
Hey, it's Harley. Leave a message at the beep.
Just an empty room, full of empty space. I see on your face.
In the matter of the people of the state of New York versus Arthur Fleck, we, the jury, find Arthur Fleck guilty as charged with murder in the first degree against Maurice Franklin. As to count 2, we, the jury, find Arthur Fleck guilty as charged with murder in the second degree against Randall Klimenhofer. Guilty as charged with murder in the second degree.
Get them out of here immediately. Get them out of here. Don't move, you sick fuck.
Was that Harley? The whole courtroom is dusted. He's not dead. Surely it's Harley Quinn. Or maybe it was just a fan. It was a Joker fan, supporter. Oh, Harvey Dent. Let's see his face. You see, when Harley walked out with a few of his, I don't know, super fans, supporters, I still don't know what to call him, Joker stands, I kind of took that as a, like, her as a representation of him losing some of his supporters because he's no longer, or he's denying the part of him that they are fascinated by, obsessed by. Clearly not.
We're not going away, Arthur. All we had was the fantasy, and you gave up.
I'm the same guy that murdered Marie Franklin.
No. No, you're not. There is no Joker. That's what you said, isn't it?
Please. We're having a baby.
That was Tosh.
The show that turns you out.
Please stop.
With a kind of a glow, and you'll say, entertainment.
I don't want to sing anymore.
A song.
Oh. He no longer wants to sing.
Just stop singing.
I mean, I agree with him. That's interesting, though.
Goodbye, Arthur.
That guy in the background, who is he? Why do they keep... In that shot, they didn't really highlight him, but they made sure he was in shot in a particular place, somewhere center. Who is he?
Hey, Arthur. Hold up.
Oh.
Can I tell you a joke I came up with? A psychopath walks into a bar and sees this famous clown sitting there, all alone. Totally drunk. It's pathetic. I can't believe you're here, he says. I used to watch you on TV. And this clown turns and says, well, if you're mine, you can get me anything. Perfect, psychopath says. How about I get you what you fucking deserve?
The joke he told this guy was about himself and Arthur. Is that guy cutting a smile into his face?
But I know I'm gonna change.
So
Funny as it seems.
all right, man. All right. I had some harsh words based on the most recent part of the film, which is the last half, but I think a few hours I've calmed down. I can give a more clear and concise opinion. So let's start with the positives. First of all, as we expected, visuals top. I wouldn't say it was as good as Joker, but there's still a lot of visually enticing scenes, some good shots in this movie. See, the standout is a scene where Harley draws a smile onto the window pane and it aligns up with Arthur's face. But in that same scene, there's also a shot where there's like a window pane and it's reflecting Harley, even though the camera's not directly onto her. I'm probably not explaining that right, but there was some good scenes. So shout out to the cinematographer, Lawrence Sher, but also shout out to Todd Phillips. We know he has quite a big hand in the cinematography as well. Just on the visuals as well, I did quite enjoy the more fantastical set pieces in terms of when we were doing musical performance and we'd escape into these otherworldly realities. I guess that's like when we had that huge kind of winding path that Harley was on leading to a stage. That was all visually interesting. Let's talk about some of the performances. Joaquin Phoenix, consistency. He was excellent in the first movie, as we all know. He's still excellent in this movie. I wouldn't say he's got more to do than the first movie, but his characterization of this version of the Joker is still perfect for what this movie needs him to be. His transformation physically is still as haunting. Lady Gaga was good. She was fine. I mean, in terms of the musical aspect, she didn't really have to do anything that was beyond her capabilities. But I think she was good. I think if I had any issues with Harley, it was nothing to do with Lady Gaga, it was to do with the character herself. But honestly, guys, really and truly, my standout performance from this film was from Gary. Unfortunately, I don't know the actor's name, but Gary, especially in that, well, I mean, it's the only scene he's in the courtroom scene when he's playing off of Arthur. That scene between the two of them, but specifically Gary, that was my favorite scene in this entire movie. And that was in the second half of the movie. And largely, my problems of this movie are in the second half. But genuinely, I think he gave the standout performance in this movie. That was the scene I was most engaged in this entire movie. That scene kind of made me perk up a bit, and then ultimately, after that, it kind of died. But let's jump into the negatives. Let's start with the music. So the music, I enjoyed the popular songs. So in this movie, you have the popular songs, the songs we know outside of this film for being hits. Like, I can't even remember them now, but you know the songs I'm talking about. And then you have the original music for this movie. I didn't like the original music. I did not like the original music, and they chose to reprise a lot of it a lot of the time. And it just started to grate on me. There were a lot of scenes where I feel like there were songs added specifically for Harley that felt like the producers or Todd Phillips was like, wow, well, Lady Gaga's written some songs for us. We've had songs written for Lady Gaga. She's performed these songs. Let's keep them in because it's Lady Gaga, not because it actually serves this movie. The scene where she sings before she goes into the courtroom, I didn't gain anything from that scene whatsoever. I don't think it added to the movie. The scene where she is painting on her Joker lookalike face paint or her Harley makeup, I guess that works more so than the other, but I still like it just became excessive. It got to a point where every time someone opened their mouth, I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. I became so tired because things were starting to feel repetitive. And this is a theme, or my main issue with this movie is repetitiveness. I feel like I understood a lot of the themes, the intentions of this movie in the first half, and they just kept repeating certain things in the second half. And this was only exacerbated by the fact that the music was repetitive. And then also, the locations were repetitive. Guys, this movie is between the courtroom and Arkham. The courtroom and Arkham. The courtroom and Arkham. Listen, yeah, there's a film called One Night in Miami, directed by Regina King. I think it came out maybe 2-3 years ago. That film is adapted from a stage play, and it takes place in one room, not one location, one room, 4 characters, entirety of the play. And they adapted that to film and it worked perfectly. For me, why did it work? Because there was growth in the characters, there was change in the conversation, the characters were changing as the movie went on due to the conversations they were having. So I didn't really care that the location had stayed the same. When so many aspects of this movie, I feel, are repeating themselves, and the location is not changing either, it makes me more bored, it makes me more frustrated because everything feels the same. So the music just started to grate on me. I didn't want to hear any more songs. When Arthur was like, please stop singing, I could not agree more. Stop, cut it out. This film is clearly set out to ask us the question of who is Arthur, who is the Joker, who is the person in front of us, who is responsible for everything that happens, who is responsible for the murders. We asked that question very early on into the movie, and we just keep asking it through different scenes. In the courtroom, we have 3 or 4 witnesses. 4. We could have taken one of those out. The scene with, I think her name was Mrs. Kane. I don't know. I didn't think I grabbed her first name, but the black lady before Zazie Beetz came. I don't think we gained anything specific from that scene that we didn't grasp already from conversations we had already had in this movie. Why is it there? We establish pretty early on in this movie that we're trying to figure out that the question is Arthur Arthur or is Arthur the Joker? Take the question somewhere else. It just keeps going. It just stays there. It doesn't ask me anything new. And for 2 hours, I need something more. If you set out that question in the first 10 minutes of the movie, why at the end of the movie are we still set on the same question when Arthur eventually tells a joke where it's like, knock, knock, who's there? Arthur Fleck. Arthur who? We've already established this is the question. What are we doing? Like, I don't need a direct answer, but take it somewhere else. There must be more levels. Again, on this theme of repetitiveness, in the first movie, we established that Joker has these super fans who see him as a martyr. We say it in the beginning of the film. He's a representation of the people of Gotham's attempts to break out of the oppression of Gotham. They see him as an inspiration. They see him as a hero. They see him as someone who has attacked Gotham for the way Gotham treats the lesser man. So in this movie, we have few characters who are up-close representations of those individuals within Gotham who see him as this martyr. Harley, Joker number 2, who we see at the end of the movie do what he does. And we have Nicky, is his name Nicky or Ricky, which was the younger guy that eventually got strangled. Where is the complexity and the variation in these characters as representations of this super fandom for the Joker? Harley Quinn, we are never given any deeper explanation as to why she specifically needs the Joker to be this version of him that has brought her to this place. Why? Why does she need it? What does he represent specifically to her? She's wealthy. She's grown up fine. What is it, an escape? Like, let's delve into that. Harley was the secondary Joker guy that was in the background of this movie. What's the difference between his ideology and Harley's? Why do they both need him to be this person? How do these characters necessarily differ? Except that one chose to kill him and the other just walked away. What do they need specifically out of him that led them on those different paths? Then we have the superfan that got strangled. His friend from Arkham. Why is he so obsessed with Arthur? Give these characters some significant variation and help us to understand the many types of people that love or loved the Joker and turned on him when he was no longer the Joker. We see some people walk out of the courtroom, yet we still see superfans who, when the courtroom explodes, want to drive him elsewhere or to a safe house or to a safe location. What's the infighting between these super Joker fans? A lot of this movie, especially in the second half of it, just felt like a rehashing, and I just got pretty tired. Outside of the Gary scene, which is my favorite scene, music, I got bored. Characters, I got bored. I do think Todd Phillips asks an interesting question, and he also wants us to explore our own position in terms of how everyone needing something from Arthur. You've got the doctor and the lawyer who are telling him he's got multiple personalities. You've got people who need him to be the Joker. You've got people who need him to be Arthur, and everyone's telling him, and eventually he says, I'm Arthur and I'm responsible for everything that's happened. I don't believe that to be true. I think there are so many factors that have contributed to the point that I think there are so many factors that have led him to the position in which he's in, and that there are other people who are culpable. I think Todd Phillips lightly tries to play with that, but it just wasn't enough for me. And in the end of the movie, I was just kind of like, well, I could have not watched that and been fine, which is sad. But hey, I don't think it was as bad as the online reaction, but the counter reaction is also BS. This movie, I'm never going to advocate for it. I'm never going to advertise, market this movie to anyone, or tell them or recommend this movie to anyone. I'm just not. If they watch it, it's fine. We can talk about it, but the conversation might last like 2 minutes. All right, that's as much as I can say. Peace, I guess.